some of the skill tests that we use, we send them to this website called SurveyMonkey, and it's a free website, surveymonkey.com, and we use it as a pre-screening tool. Basically, it asks them for the name, the email, the phone number. One of the questions will ask, in 100 to 300 words, describe why you feel you're the best candidate for this position. So, like, if they don't fill in at least 100 words, we don't even bother to look at them because they're not following instructions. And then the Appendix B that I talked to you about in the back of the book of top grading, we actually retype that into SurveyMonkey, so they go through this entire thing and answer all of these questions. And then we just log in and check the answers, and then call them to do pre-screening phone interview before we bring them on. Okay, once they come into the office, one of the tests that we give them, because we want them to be, at least decent with using basic computer software like Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word. And so we have this, so I came up with this little test, and I tell them, okay, open up Excel, go to this website, copy the content from that website, paste it into Excel, sort this column by ascending order. How many of you guys know how to sort in Excel? It's a smart crowd. Because every time I ask that question, more than half of the crowd totally don't know it. So you're a very smart crowd. For a long time, I didn't know it. But I'm looking for someone who they don't have to know it, but I expect them to be able to find the answer for it rather quickly. Whether they go to help or they go to the internet, because a lot of people don't know how to do that. Okay, so that's one of the tests. Another test too is either we talk to them over the phone or we have them record like reading a paragraph of an article and email that MP3 to us so we can hear how they sound, what the accent sounds like in a non-conversational way, and see. Another thing that we did that drastically increased our productivity. In the beginning, I used to have them filled out. At the end of the day, they would email me a daily report of what they did that day. Okay, and we did that for a while until I learned. I don't remember who I learned it from. Probably from some books or something, but I learned to do hourly reports. So I had them switch to hourly report. So at the end of the day, they write down for me what they did, but in each of the hour of the day that they worked. And when we did that, our productivity increased like 400%, because they are now so much more aware of what they're supposed to be doing. Okay. And it's available for me to read it, so it keeps them on their toes to perform. So that is a really, really important tip. I recommend how many of you guys feel like sometimes you seem to do a lot of stuff during the day, but at the end of the day you don't feel like you accomplish a lot. All right, try this on yourself. Try it for a week. Write down in each hour, just take a couple minutes and write down what you did the previous hour. You're going to find that you waste so much time on non-important stuff that has, and so try it. You're going to become so much more aware of what you do, and it'll help you with your time management. Okay.
Question on SurveyMonkey. Do you have a copy of something that we could create? Because you have to create the survey, right? So
right.
Something that we can use that can
go to dudeals.com/apply.
Okay, thank you.
make sure you write a note in there that you're my student so they don't call you to think that you're applying for a job with us. Because you have to go through many pages before you can see the whole funnel. Okay, good question. You're welcome. You owe me. How much is that worth? What's the value of that? Priceless. All right, I'll take $1,000. I'll take a MasterCard. Right, priceless. All right. If you have a team of them, once you grow your team, let's say you have 3 to 5 people. 5 is a really good number. Let's say you have, you have a team of 3 to 5 people calling sellers and buyers. That's when you get your business bigger. You want, you get, like I have quotas for them, how many calls they have to make, how many leads they have to submit, just like how many seller questionnaire forms they have to submit, and how many flex options they get signed, and so when you have those quota and you graph them out, like you put them, because they'll put it into it. You can tell them this, put it into Excel and at the end of the week graph it out for me. So that way you don't even have to look at the numbers. You can see, okay, this person, the numbers is much lower than this person. And not only you can see it, but they can see it. And when they can see it, they can see that their coworkers outperforming them, and it keeps them a whole lot more motivated to perform better. Okay? Now, like I said, these people, for some reason, they're not that money motivated. They're not. Like, I pay them bonuses and stuff like that, but it's like they don't really care that much. Like, I can't use it. If I'm using it just for the purpose of pushing them harder, it doesn't work. At least the people I've been hiring anyways. Maybe I'm hiring the wrong people. But I haven't been able to motivate them that way. And so, so the Filipinos are just very, like, relaxed people. And like I said, the ones that are money motivated, they're no longer in the Philippines. They moved out. They went to Singapore, went to Hong Kong, where the pay is automatically much better, because the living expenses in Philippines is pretty low. Okay. I get them to fall in love with me. No, not in, I do things for them, like when they're, like, their birthdays, I have one of my assistants reminds me of all their birthdays. So I tell my assistant, now my assistant knows now. So, like, sometimes they're thanking me for a birthday party that I didn't even, like, plan or anything, but they don't know that. So we throw them birthday parties. We, like sometimes, like certain days where they have to leave early, or I'm pretty flexible with that. Some of them, sometimes they have family issues, and I always try my best to remember that and follow up with them. There are cases where, like, I had a case where one of my assistant dad had a surgery, and they didn't have any money to pay for it. So I sent her $5,000 to pay for it. I had a case where they had a typhoon over there, which is kind of like we have hurricanes here, and several of their houses got damaged, and so I sent them extra money bonus to fix their house. Like, they didn't ask for it, I just did it. Stuff like that, So I do stuff like that for them, so they stay very loyal. I mean, some of my staff are very, very loyal because of that. I think. What other questions you guys have for me?
Tim, if you wholesale properties in another country, do you choose the area that you are familiar with, and do you physically check out those properties when you wholesale them?
In another country? I haven't done it in another country, but well, when you're in another country, you really aren't familiar with any of it. I mean, I would work with somebody local. I would work with a local real estate agent to get myself more familiarized with the area. The first thing I would do, especially on wholesaling, is, and I do the exact same thing here in the U.S., is I find out what type of houses landlords are buying. For example, like here in Houston, landlords love 3-bedroom, 2-bath, brick house, between 900 to 1,500 square feet, between $90,000 to $125,000. So, so I know those criterias, and the houses are not too old. They like the newer ones, like from the 60s to the 1960s to 1980s. So that way there's not a whole lot of repairs. So I would find out what that is, what that criteria is in other countries or in other states or in other cities. And once I find that, then I just find my wholesale deals that meet those criteria, so that way I know I have a much better chance at selling it to a landlord in that area.
So you don't have to physically check out the property?
No. You need somebody on the ground to physically look at it and send you pictures. But it's more important that you have the criteria that the buyers are looking for.
Tim, if your goal is to say do 2 to 4 deals a month, is a virtual assistant beneficial, or how many man hours are you looking at?
Virtual assistance is always beneficial if you think you're worth more than $5 an hour. I don't care, even if you do 1 deal a year, all right? The stuff that most of us doing, we shouldn't be doing it. I'd rather for you to spend that time, have fun, or go hang out with your family or something, and let the virtual assistant do most of it. Come on, is anyone in here can't afford $5 an hour? You probably make at least that much. You just buy back that time so you can do something else. So I mean, right now, if you haven't done any deals yet, then I recommend that you just get started doing some deals. But once you've done a deal or two, get a virtual assistant as soon as possible. You're gonna thank me for it. This is one of those things where Nick kind of talked about this. Where you're kind of scared. It's outside of your comfort zone. It's different. It's not something you're used to. But once you do it, you'll be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I haven't been doing it all of these years. Because that's what happened to me. I mean, there's no way I can live my lifestyle now without that. It's like impossible. And I mean, yeah, it's God sent. It's really, really good. Probably better than what they call it, what's the term? I don't remember. Huh? Yeah. SOB. What? Yeah, it's better than that too. No.
Do you use virtual assistants as bookkeepers or anything in that area?
I do have a bookkeeper virtual assistant to do the bookkeeping over there in the Philippines. I am transitioning her to do my bookkeeping here. But that has not been started yet, but it is on its way. And pretty soon, they'll be the one that will also probably do our payroll and stuff like that, and pay whatever. Yeah. So that way, because think about it. I mean, you can use, almost every banks have bill pay, that the banks is the one that's sending out the money. So there's nobody needing to write a check or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, the future is that I see that anything that could be done virtually would happen virtually. And whatever can't be done, like shipping out a physical product, can't be done over there, then we'll do it here.